Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. We're getting started a little bit early because I started the broadcast a little bit early. Uh, it's it's the way it is. Yes, Dino Man, we are 3 minutes 15 seconds early. So not a lot early, but usually it's right around 4 when I start. I'm being perhaps hyperbolic. All right, so it is a coding day today. We're going to continue working on our Nyanite Survivors game. Last time, we got general spawning properties and collision working. There's some more nuance I want to add to that kind of thing, but another thing we need to do is create the idea of spawn groups. So instead of there being just, what would it be? Thinking. Instead of there just being mobs, like one universal pool of things, I want to have differentiation between them. Hey there, Libby. Welcome. So that we can say select a mob or select a bullet, that kind of thing. Because some of the projectiles are definitely going to need to be able to differentiate between mob, bullet, that kind of thing, as well as hostile bullets and friendly bullets. So let's check in with kitties first. You can see there's a slight adjustment to the bed camera, the one with the big blanket and the pillow on it that Mason is currently all jackknifed onto. That's a little closer. I put a new bed frame there, which has wrapped my body to assemble and get in there properly. And I realized that there were some gaps in the framework that allowed the kitties to get under there, so I've had to improvise some barriers so that they don't worm their way under there and just hide out all the time. Sky actually got himself trapped there for this morning because he managed to knock one of the barriers aside just enough to dive down, but he couldn't climb back up. So yeah, we only have a couple of them visible. Let me zoom in on... No, I thought that might be Ember. I'll have to keep an eye out. Ember's getting a drink. We'll have to keep an eye out for where some of them go, because if they're not visible for a protracted period of time, I might have to check out the bed again, because they may have managed to worm through one of the barriers. But we'll do that periodically during the brief breaks. So again, we are doing coding today. Periodically, we will run it to show you what things are doing currently. Right now, the purple bubble is supposed to target creatures, and if it runs into them, they go away. But the purple bubble can occasionally target another purple bubble. It's not supposed to. Ultimately, if I lead a blob into that central bubble, it'll pop it, go away. The bubbles are also supposed to originate from the player. That's further logic we need to add to the spawners, so that they can track an entity properly. Like there's an origination thing. So let's go in. Let's look at our red bullet spawner. So there's the template. There's the template. Here's the script. This is the template. we deviated from our normal schedule a bit to do some 40k power wash, which we will be continuing to play. But we need to figure out wait a minute. That mob template as its script. I know it starts as a mob template. Which we may need to change. For those that haven't seen this before, we're doing a survivor style game, kind of like Vampire Survivors. So again, yeah, the player is the center of the camera. The world effectively moves around them. The player will spray projectiles everywhere, and monsters will converge from the edges of the screen to try to hit the player. If they do, your health goes down, and you eventually lose. And see, the player got hurt. Debug messages here. So I think that part's working fine. Okay, red projectile. That's properly lined up here. The template doesn't have a script, or shouldn't have a script, essentially. But it does, because, you know, audio check. Is it working now? I should have done a video check, but scrambling a bit. Probably scared away Libby and Dino Man. Sorry about that, folks. There's some issues with the audio that don't seem to be correctable until the stream actually starts. And I am still forgetting to do that. Okay, so in Red Bullet's script, the Red Bullet object can just collide. Where's the movement? So this is straight at player. Let's look at our spawners. It has yeah, I feel like we might need to make a new template that is for projectiles. I've actually been thinking about that. Instead of having just one movement template, instead of having just a fixed collision effect, I'm thinking to put an array in there so that you can set multiple movement templates. Order would matter because it would iterate over them and say, do this. And we'd have to adjust some stuff. Maybe have, like, the movement script have some stuff baked in. Or have it be a pair so the speed could be set. Turbot has come to visit me behind my chair. Okay. So the mobs were able to... Oh, that's right, that's right. Let's... So if we look at the blob scene, it has a spawner attached to it. So then if I go into the game scene, this spawner emits blobs. If I go into the player scene, should have a collision object that follows it. But it might be that this isn't properly updating its position. Would be weird. Hey there, Shu. I think it's Shu. Might be Sha. A short ooh. So I think it's Shu. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, that kind of thing, Tess. That kind of thing where we can iterate different behaviors on it. I actually show or no? Okay, sorry. I'm. Well, you correct me when when you get the chance if you need to. But welcome nonetheless. It would also open the door, Taz, to letting us put some Noida-like behaviors on things. To say, like, oh, you glue these two things together, so they now do this on impact, you know? Upon collision, this other movement behavior happens, or a different projectile kicks off. Kind of stuff. So let's look at that. Go into mob template. We export a single movement template. We would want this. But it doesn't like that because you can't specify a type on a movement template. Okay, we're gonna drastic action here. And do a manual hard reset. How's that? Is it better again? Ha! Ultimately, it should be this side. Hello there, Catnap. Let's see here. We're fixing audio. We were fixing audio. That's my mixer. We're doing a coding stream tonight. We're trying to keep our game moving. So a mob moves at a fixed speed. Well, thank you. I appreciate the sub. We're actually really close to 4,000 subs right now. I think at the start of the stream, we were about 15 people away. So let's see if we can get there tonight. Okay, so a mob template currently has one movement pattern. And we could subject mobs to the same thing, but I'm also starting to question whether mobs should have the same template. Like, I like the idea of a mob working this way. They have one way that they move, they have their body, and they have a single speed. But a bullet could have multiple movement templates, should generally have a single body and animation to it. But it could have multiple speeds. Let me check here. These, yeah, you are watching through the short stream. There, Catnap. The short stream currently has well, there are 3 streams going. There is the wide format stream, the short format stream, and a Twitch stream. So there can be different people watching different streams. So if I do mention something and it seems like I'm addressing a person and you can't see their text, that's why. Okay, so I'm thinking a bullet template might be the way to go here, and have an array of paired objects. How to accomplish that in Godot, though? Because I want to make sure that it's paired properly, and that each entry would have two things: an int and a packed scene. Look, I know there are some things that have that kind of thing on them. Okay, player sprite. So it has a texture object here. What was another one? Hey there, Donald. Welcome. And do feel free, folks, whether you just want to chat. This is a very chill stream. Pretty much whatever we're doing, it's a pretty chill stream. But, hello, Ember. Even when I'm doing coding or gaming or something like that, I will try to keep an eye on chat. So if you have questions about what we're doing or similar, well, questions or just want to chat, feel free. If you don't, lurking is fine too. Okay. The animated sprite, right? So it's not the player that I want. It is, say, like blob. Blobs have animated sprites. Animated sprites have a sprite frame. I wonder how you set this up. Such that there are sub-resources like this. What was another one? Text. Text has that. Let's go to our game scene. For those just joining, we are coding a game. And we're learning Godot engine in the process. So there's a lot of stuff of me just trying to puzzle out how things are going to work. So they can have theme overrides. And font size has essentially a font size change there. But I could go in and add a theme. Yes, I know Ember. Ember demands very intensive pettings when she comes for them. She likes to sit kind of vertically along your body. Instead of like laying across your lap, she lays like up your torso. When she can. She likes her back stroked, and she likes her back of her head stroked. And she likes to slowly microwave you because she gives off a lot of heat. She's a tiny cat. Let's see. So we need to supply an array of movement templates. But we also want to be able to set the speed on those movement templates. because we want them to behave in different ways accordingly. How Ember keeps scratching up her chin, but she does. I think she just gets an itchy chin and goes a little too hard on the hind leg scratching. Either that or she's scuffling with Sky or Mason. Not Mason, Sherbet. Mason generally doesn't play the same way as the others. Done now? Okay. Alright, so let's just look at a mob body template here. If we said movement template is an array, and then we go and look at purple, purple bullet. Ember isn't terrible about having her claws trimmed. She's not thrilled with it. Sammy is worse, and Mason won't at all. Hind legs, though, it's hard to trim any of them. Welcome back, Catnip. Catnap. She's trying to chew on my camera now. Come here, you. Come here, you. If she doesn't get the attention she wants, she'll try that. She'll, like, rub her face on and gnaw the camera. She's not a big kitty. She can't do any immediate damage, but it's kind of an accretion effect. Well, I hope you can work through that, Scotty. Let's see. We want an array of objects. Could use a class, essentially a class of like movement template pairs. Yeah, that could work. So these are creature movements. I think it's okay for projectiles to still be a type of mob. But that doesn't quite work for our pattern here. So let's move projectiles up to resource. No, they would need to be mobs to use the same spawner. I don't necessarily want to have multiple spawners. So we have to make mobs have multiple movement types, and most creatures will just have the one. Yeah. So if we make movement template an array, and then we go into, let's say, the player projectile. We go into its resource. But how do we add to this? Well, thanks for joining us, Cat. Now. No, that's not right. We're struggling a little bit. We're trying to figure out how to get this in here properly. Because this should be an array now. Oh, I know why. I know why. Because this is an invalid line. It's that now. So it didn't update all of the other instances of an object. Well, that should have worked. Let's close all of these. We're then going to go to our mob template. How did we declare this last time? Real quickly. Just gonna do a little test. So apologies for the music stopping for a moment. We're just testing something. That's probably why. Ah. Let's try one more. One more. Oh, I know what I was doing. Oops. Welcome back. We're checking some stuff here. Okay. Music back on. But welcome back, Lol. Yes. We are doing a coding stream today, trying to get the game dev rolling. Why cannot? Story enum. All right, let's see here. Export. Five as a float. Ah, here we go. Here we go. So we can export a typed array. We are trying to make a survivor style game, so we are coding is one of those things that if you want to get into it, you need to kind of dedicate yourself to practice and learn. So if you don't end up wanting to do that, um, or just the process doesn't seem like something you want to do, then yeah, I get that impression. File flags, flags. Group for the following. I don't understand this one. Ah, okay. This is clusters. This lets you define like these categories in the editor. Ethereum Wolf, we are doing some coding. We're making a game. And hello there. I guess it's Aiden. You can ask me a question. Yes. We're currently just reading documents, so feel free to ask away. And I do have a bot that mentions the channel rules now. Again, it is not targeting you since it follows almost immediately after a text line once every half hour. Don't need a range. Don't need a subgroup. RPC calls. Oof. Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay. Well. Okay. So we would want it to be array. Can we do this? Template, comma, int. No luck. No luck. Hmm. So what we're trying to do is make it so that we can do a two-value array. We want a particular movement template, and then we want an integer to represent the speed that we want that movement template to operate at, so that we can stack them. We could have it's moving in a straight line, generally at a speed of 10, but it also like arcs around. So it would converge in a spiral, you know? Uh, for those that might remember, hey there, Sonic Main. Is that Sonic Main insofar as something like one of the more recent-ish Smash Brothers game? As in you main the Sonic character, or did previously and still have the handle, or perhaps one of the Sonic racing games. How to do, how to do. I mean, we could just do this. I think that'll work. Why will you not work? I looked this up. Word var array value. Do not understand. Oh, it has to be a node derived class, but it's not a resource. Let's It was a packed scene before. It was a packed scene before. Did they ask a question? Yeah, well, yeah, technically they did. Okay, okay. It is an array of packed scene. Oh, int. No luck there. There we go. So then I can have really don't like this because these can get out of sync. But what we can do is the first array is the movement template, and the second one is an integer to go with it. So then if I go into the template for this, yeah. So we could have to a random mob. And we could have 96 still. And we get rid of speed at that point. So we're going to have to go through and correct all of these templates or these implementations of things. Oh, okay, these are movement templates. That's not what I want. I want like purple bullet is to random mob at 96 only. Then if we had, let's get the red one corrected. So then we would use straight to player here. So Godot engine lets us create things like template files where we go through and we say, here, take this object. This is the object that is in this variable. And it can be kind of drag and drop, that kind of thing. Then track player. We need to go into the blob setting. We're going to add a new folder. This is potentially confusing, but there is a overall category of a mob, a mobile object. For those that have encountered the word mob as a reference to like a creature in a game, but that term is derived from an old text-based game term for mobile object. It is something that can move around scene to scene or that kind of thing. And subsequently, that usually started to reference like monsters in games, things that can they they are an entity that can move around and interact, but usually it means like non-player or something like that. We are combining that with the idea of bullets and the like. So let's actually rename that then. I'm going to say monsters, just to keep the folder structure rational. Okay, so then in this one, we need to add an element here and an element here. And it moves at 1 square per unit time. Hey, do that. Oh, no, we had, I set the size of the array to 96, not the first value of the array to 96. Oops. Okay, so track player. So we don't have red bullet set up, but we're not currently using red bullet, I think. Hey there, Tatum. Welcome, welcome. We're doing a game development stream today. It's a relatively chill stream, so if you do... Oh, sorry. I forgot to turn my music back on. Okay, so if they then go into a standard mob body... pretty variable, especially... Are you in the short form stream? Yeah, you're in the short form stream. Short form stream generally has people kind of zipping in and out of it. People come in, people go out a little faster than normal. Well, than you would expect. So sometimes there's lots of people chatting, sometimes not. Lol, yeah. I try to have stuff that is reminiscent of chiptunes, but I avoid using chiptunes. And hey there, Yolts. Hey there, welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the game development stream. Okay. Where did I put the logic that makes them move that way? Okay. This is track the player. Oh, okay, no, it's in the movement template. That's right. So we don't need to worry about that. The movement template gets its speed value. Okay. So then when we spawn them... Again, game development. So we get a mob template. Mob template now has an array of movement templates. Then... Right, and then we attach them. Then currently we're adding mobs to this. We're going to correct that shortly. And we add the movement template. Okay, so we are going to define this first. Hello, Sammy. Sammy is interfering with my keyboard. Sammy likes to lay across my lap and wants head scratches and back scratches and whatnot. Little bit of backstrokes, but not always, not as much. That's right, Sammy. That's right. For those that are new to the stream, or just swinging through at this moment, and would like to know more, we have our cat cam array, and I try to keep a kitty on camera at all times. We can currently see 3 of the 5. There are 5 cats, Tatum. There are 5 cats. We can currently see Ember is the kind of gray and orange or gray and tan one that is mostly on the camera. She's actually very tiny. That camera zoomed in really close. The one on the pillow, kind of curled up, is Mason. And the one up in the tree is Sky. Not visible is Sammy. She's a small tuxie. She is slightly bigger than Ember. And then Sherbet, who is the same kind of tan and white that Mason is, but it's splotchier. It's much more irregular. And Sherbet is a little bigger than Sammy, and Mason is noticeably bigger than Sherbet, and Sky is bigger than Mason. You can't always get the size, a view of the size from the cameras. Like, again, Ember is very much the smallest cat. She is second oldest, though, I think. There's some wiggle on Sammy. She is at least a year old. Or was at least a year old when I adopted her. But I think Ember is 1 to 2, was 1 to 2 when at the time that Sammy was brought in. So they're either very close in age or Ember's a little older. And both of them are older than Mason and Sherbet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to declare mob template right here. Oh, no, why did it do that? Like that. We're not going to declare it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this all into an iterator. Hey there, Kebo. I can't recall if you said it was very early or late. If I recall the UK time disparity, it's kind of early for you. Like, oh, okay, okay. Are you in like... Ah, okay, okay. For me, it is almost 5 o'clock p.m. Okay, so it is 4... zero, and then we do a comma on this. I think we would do it that way. Okay, okay. Well, thank you, Rosie. I appreciate the nice words on your way through. Not sure how to phrase that. So we do that. Like, we're going to call it movement template in. That. Yeah. Ideally, I'm going to be live tomorrow, Tatum, to deal with time zone disparities for folks. I usually start about an hour and 50 minutes ago. I don't like generic variables either. So in GDScript, the scripting language specific to Godot, issues there, dog lover? In GDScript, you can declare a generic variable with just var name, but if you put a colon variable type there, it enforces strict typing, which I like. Vania, my day is going pretty well. Sleep issues continue, but we still managed to start the stream, and we're getting back into our game development as wanted. Nope. A nanotype is androgynous. And my voice is male presenting. Well, thanks, Lol. I'm happy you enjoy it. Oh, okay. Not as. Hold it. We're using very verbose variable names. That's a lot of emojis. That is indeed true. He's snoozing there, Tatum. He is snoozing. Let's zoom out. Let's see if we can spot one. Now, that said, sometimes the camera jams, and we don't see a lot of movement in general because it just freezes. But we can fix that. Sonic Superstars. I can't say I'm familiar. Have any others we want to watch? Yeah, let's do some zoom-ins, huh? Do I play any instruments? No. Some time ago, a long time ago, I very badly played a brass instrument for a band. Thanks, Tatum. Oh, we can see Sammy. So in the top of the tree is Sky, big old fluffy Sky. And then on the little platform beneath him is Sammy, the little tuxedo. Sammy was originally a semi-feral barn cat. When I say semi-feral, it's that they kind of hung out in a, in a barn. They were domestic adjacent. No, they very much aren't twins. Sky is kind of gray and white and big. Sammy is and fluffy. Sammy is more short hair, smaller, and the classic tuxedo, black and white. Now, we can't see his brother anywhere. Sherbet and Mason are effectively siblings. They were either in the same litter or in two litters sharing one parent. Hey there, Weatherwatch. Welcome. We were just discussing the kitties. Yep, Tuxedo Cat. Okay, instantiated movement template is here. It's equal to... This is a packed scene, but we're instantiating it. Okay, no, it is a movement template. Movement template. Oh, no. Okay, okay. This is a movement template object, or the packed scene. But I can't do this. So we're going to do this, like that. And it is a movement template object, like so. Okay, so this should iterate over each one. But... Alright, let's look for all of our code here. Where else did we do a for loop? Oh, here, let's search for it. Looking for the for iterator, not an object that contains the word for, such as format. It's not an object. F is conformal. Interesting. Global scope. All right. Just checking some stuff here a moment. Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, so for I in to spawn movement template size like that, then so instantiated movement template is equal to mob to spawn movement template I dot instantiate. Illegal amounts of uranium-235. Background is nice. I do like this background. This is one of the nano vats. I haven't decided if that's supposed to be the core vat, but this is one of the nano vats. Issues there, Denise? I think that's Denise. Is it Dennis? Okay, so this should... Okay, so this gives us... as movement template. Don't need this line. Body to move is the mob body. Speed is not that. Let's see. Call of Duty story. I'm not really familiar with those. I am making a video game. We are making a Vampire Survivors-like game. We are simultaneously learning GD script. Games and future streams, lol, we do want to finish the 40k stuff in Power Wash. So we'll be doing a bit of that next week. Once we're not playing Power Wash, we're also going to be getting back into the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney games. Or at least that set of the Ace Attorney games, since Apollo isn't always central. Then we kind of wing it from there. Sometimes we do things like read a book. We'll play other games. It's pretty variety here. Okay, its speed is up to spawn dot movement template speed I. Hey there, Art. That cat is Mason. He is one of 5. I think 3 are still visible on the array. Let's check. Gotta show off the cat cam array. Yeah, 3 visible out of the 5. Ember is maximizing comfort. Let's zoom in on the second cat tree here. Oh, you can see him. He kind of blends in. But that is Sherbet. That is the other tan and white cat. He is the middle-sized cat. But you can kind of see his tail and paw there in the little house. Hey there, rat. Yeah, they're snoozing. They are snoozing. Okay, so we've got the speed on them. We've got all the templates set. Did I still break it? Let's find out. Bubble spawning. Blob spawning. How much does it cost to keep them fed? Well, let's see. Wet food. They consume about 2 5-ounce tins a day, which is less than $1 per tin. And then they eat a variable amount of dry food. Which varies in cost. But you're definitely looking at a few dollars a day. And that's setting aside things like litter box, that kind of stuff. So a few dollars a day is pretty solid. Sometimes folks get the impression that cats are really inexpensive to keep because they keep to themselves. But if you want to keep them properly healthy, you do need to commit resources. All the time I do that kind of thing. I will go to do a particular task in a place. I will arrive there and get distracted by something and accomplish a bunch of other tasks, but not the thing that I set out to do. And I will remember that after all the other tasks are done and I try to reset to what I was originally doing. A common one is going to get something like a drink or something like that, veering off, doing other stuff, and then not having the drink. Okay, so all of the movement templates are working. So now we could do something like... Well, we can stack movement templates now. That's a good start. It gives us some more control. Next, we want to have some typing. So there's a way to group objects, but I don't know if I want to do it that way. So if we look at project, is it in here? There's a way we can set like object groups. Health and damage currently is handled in some global objects. So if you... Oh, did I? Let me check. We are close. We are very close. We are very close. 4 more. We'll see by the end. We're getting there. We're getting there steadily, slowly. Poor Ricky. Okay. So if you look, global nodes is one of my... I don't like using a universal object, but it's there. So if we look at global nodes, not in art, it's in global. So we have the mob pool, which is set to be a node, and currently the game says this is the mob pool. So we can add them, and we could manually add them to individual objects, but I almost want... would love to have a way to individually target a mob. But we don't really need to. What we could do is have separate pools within them and identify them accordingly. Let's just do that. Let's be expedient. Let's not... We are renaming some functions. A whole bunch of stuff is going to go haywire for a moment. We're kind of being brute forcey here. So what we've got is different pools to add them to. Items? We are going to be adding some items, both like the classic XP orb kind of thing that you have to touch or get close enough to, health pickups, that kind of thing. Technically they'll be mobile objects, but not really because they won't move. So that'll be another thing that we're probably going to do, is have an entry for what they drop when you bring them down, you know? But we'll see. Yeah, things like temporary invincibility, things like, you know, massive damage amplification, that kind of stuff. Pretty much doors are wide open at this point. We're just getting the basics in. Okay, so now some stuff should have broken. We go into spawner. Go into the code for spawner. I really don't like having 3 functions that all do the same thing. Okay, Lal, thanks for joining us. Okay, so we're gonna have var. It is an enum, not a var. Equal to. Okay. So we're going to have monster. We're going to have monster bullet. Player bullet. So we're going to put these back at mob. Mobber. We're taking, we're taking ideas. Generally, using the Discord will be the best way to put in suggestions. There's like a dev board. If you haven't been to the Discord, it won't allow membership immediately, but there is a link in the LinkTree. There's a link in the description to a LinkTree, which has a link to the Discord. I can't guarantee everything will go in there. But it is a way to get the information out, Okay, so then we have a pooled just a moment. Actually, we're going to take a moment to have a quick break, and then I will be right back. All right, settling back in just a moment. Alrighty. And we're back. And I think Ember's still there. Camera 1 is generally right where Ember is. Now, I use Epidemic Sound for my music. It is a very safe and convenient place to get. It's not open source music. It's not public domain music. But it's a place that... Hey there, Gregors. Yeah, we are ideally streaming coding today and tomorrow. All right. I meant to check this. The naming conventions for this. It's camel case. And we're going to keep with Pascal case for a lot of these. All right. We'll consider it a constant. We're just going to use Pascal case everywhere for convenience. Hey there, Trang. Sure, we can check the kitties. The kitties are an important part of the stream. Yeah, Gregors, I should be streaming tomorrow at about the same time. The stream for that day should be posted, so you should be able to see it for when it's gonna show up. So we've still got Ember visible. Mason has shifted slightly. And Sherbet is now peeking out of the tree. You can see him a little more right now. Right now, in quotes. So whenever you see CAT scan in process, that's forcing the camera to refresh itself. Otherwise, they sometimes jam. But Sherbet is still sleeping. He's doing that thing where they kind of loaf up. Okay. It is a mob pool type. That. There isn't a cat below where Sherbet is in the little hutch, but sometimes they are to look out the window. And yeah, Jinx, that's kind of the idea. Most of the music is pretty mellow. It's most often audible during games where I can't risk playing the music or in these chatting streams where it's really kind of relaxed. Okay, so now spawner objects should have okay. Pretty much there, Gregors. I have tried to stream Final Fantasy XIV a few times, and every time I have stumbled on one of the tracks that they copyright claim. And I don't like having streams or videos where there's a claim on them. I try to keep my streams only long enough that I can easily do that. I have not seen the FNAF movie, Tatum. How do we define an enum properly? It's not an object. Use named enums, then use at export instead. That's right, there are 5 cats. One of them is visible right now. On the bed with Mason. Off to the side of him, not visible on camera, was Sammy. Yeah. Kind of up and right of the camera, just out of view, is Sammy. Okay, so it's not an export type. Maybe... do I have to export it? Couldn't find it in the current scope. Oh, just a second. The Discord is semi-locked down. I just need to go in and give somebody permissions. That's fine, Gregors. You should only donate if it's something within your means that you really want to do. You know, your life first, then streamers. In some, like, distance. I usually do this after streams, Kebo, but you should have permissions now. About that. Pool type. Well, I appreciate the sentiment, Gregors. Okay. Getting something up here. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so in global nodes, we'll say class name, global nodes. So then if we go into spawner, this is awkward as all get out if this works. I'd rather eat a circle or a square. Ultimately, it would depend on what they're made out of, but if I had to choose, then it would be, if I had to choose a shape, an indeterminate shape, then a circle. Because even if it was super durable, then it would probably slide easier. All right, there, Gregors, get some sleep. So what we're facing right now. Well, thank you, Suyo. I appreciate it. Oh, definitely a circle instead of a triangle. For the same reason that the D4 is the most dangerous type of die, it would need a triangle. Like, the shape. Food in triangle shapes, now that varies, because some, you could bite off bits. So the problem is mob pool type does not exist as a... let's try... Can we export that? No. And we can't export a named enum in the same way. I mean, I'd eat a sandwich. So this is part of an object that everything can reference. But this isn't a thing that everything can reference. As a class. Do I like range dressing? I like range dressing. Generally with chips. Or perhaps pretzels. Just the one squishmallow. The cats really like to lay on them. All right, Vic. Not an int. I don't want it to be an int. This class name doesn't do us any good. GTA 4 probably wouldn't end up playing GTA on stream. It's not a bad game, it's just not something that I would normally stream. That and those games tend to be crawling with copyrighted music in some fashion or another. Ranch is an interesting flavor, but as far as like a lot of sauces aren't really something that are foods. They're just flavors. Can't infer the type. We wouldn't want it to be an int. How to do this? You know what? Fine, it's an int. I hate doing this. So this essentially is just saying, in this file, I can name them. But this means that I can't use a good naming convention in the mob spawner without having to deal with this. Like, I would like to deal with saying it's a monster and not have to know that 0 is that value. Because having this used as an int is fragile. And I don't want to replicate this across 2 files. Because that is, again, fragile. Could we... No, we can't expose it even if that's the case. We could make it a dictionary and treat it as a enum. Yeah. Not in caps. Okay, this is effectively an enum. Oh, don't like that. But it's an int in that fashion. Oh, but wait. Could we force it? No, we don't need to. Okay. So I now have an exported variable that is an int, so I can reference it. I still have to set the int. Oof. Can I set it to a particular value of that? Because otherwise what I just did is meaningless. Then I go into the mob template. What did I call it? Mob pool type. Welcome back, Tatum. We define a range to keep something in. Let's check. You mean like chewing gum, Tatum? And do you mean on your shoe or like directly on your bare foot? I have that. It's a global object. But we don't want a node for this. I could use a class for this. So, for those joining us and are wondering what I'm muttering about, we're trying to go through and say, we want to add creatures to entities to particular pools so I can track them. So if I want to do things, remove all enemies on the screen, there's a clean way to do it. But as it stands, I don't have. Let's check again. Let's check again. That is correct, Nasco. We're reading documentation, and normally I don't show that. You can add an entity to a group. Did we just do it that way? All group. Nodes in group. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That still leaves us with a problem. We have to know what the groups are called. This doesn't really help us. Eventually, probably a big boss Tatum, but we'll see. But in any event, welcome to the stream, Nasco. Chili can be good. It's not the core tree that we're talking about. Well, I think there's nothing for it. Int it is. We'll just have to be cognizant and reference our global file. Unfortunate. So we'll just say it has a type. So then if I go into the projectile body template, it should have a mob pool type, and in globals, purple one would be a player bullet of 2. So I don't want to have to double export this. And then in the blob template, it's a 0 because it is a default monster. So then in global nodes, if this will work. I then go into spawner, add mob. Spawn dot mob pool type. That type. Okay, it does have to be an int. How far are we into making the game? Not far at all. We have a lot of basic elements in, and it wouldn't be a leap to finish up some of this cleanly. But, well, to make it in like a crude hello world kind of game. Hello there, Landon. Welcome to the broadcast. We're doing a coding stream today, which means it's kind of a lot of chat and me muttering and staring at a screen. Okay, so Tatum. We're making a Vampire Survivor style game. So right now what we're doing with it is trying to set it up so that I can have organized like clusters of nodes. So like a pool of them, so I can interact with them as a group without it being a named group necessarily. I could make them a named group, but we'll see later. We'll see later. Type equal to type as mob type. That work? Yes. Okay, so I'm converting an int into this because the values are ints. My enum be objects. You can say them in chat, but it's very likely that I'll forget if it's just part of a chat feed. There is a developer forum that I think you should have access to on the Discord that you can toss ideas in there. This out and just put it past. Let's. Must be constant. Okay. Okay, let's just brute force this. Don't like having a nested one. Is there a... Checking. Match, okay. I have to do a dot on this. If the tube? Definitely nothing catastrophic there, lol. Let's do a kitty check then. Every part of the Catbot factory is definitely 100% safe. We can see Sky a little more up close there. See his floofiness there. Just gonna go over and bother Ember. They have a habit of snuggling up. Do a dot reference. Is a node. monster pool, and then here. It's also a node. So we're doing this to make it so I can convert what amounts to an int into a node. And we could use groups for this. But since this is encapsulated, I don't really need to worry as much. Private method. Turn pool node. Pool node is equal to that. It's equal to a pool type. Like so. Yeah, camera 1, the camera that we're seeing right now, is the flakiest camera. It is very prone to freezing, so you'll very frequently see it go into scan mode. I've got it set up to refresh when that happens. Needs a mob pool type. We have some sort of error going on. Okay. This is in toRandomMob, so this needs to be 0. That is locked, so mob count. Once one. Get mob count. It expects one variable. Hey there, Haruto. That's right, we were playing Power Wash Simulator last. We are going to play more of that probably next week. Well, definitely next week, assuming nothing goes wrong. Because we haven't finished the DLC yet. Still got to finish that. I think it's a Thunderhawk gunship that we were on last time. Probably Tuesday. I usually don't stream on Mondays. I try to use Mondays and Thursdays to unwind and catch up on stream adjacent tasks like making those short form videos. Yeah. It declares get mob count as one variable. All right, we are going to project list. And back in. Yeah, okay. It just was flaking out. Yeah, usually, I try to stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and then Fridays through Sundays. There. What kind of server do you mean, Haruto? Let's see, track player movement. That. Rate at player doesn't reference that. I mean, usually the server owner can't have their permissions changed. So, essentially you're super admin. So unless somebody managed to change server ownership, what amounts to the actual admin should have what is considered universal privileges. Like unstoppable universal privileges. But that's just my understanding. Okay, it should still be working now. Oh. Almost back to where we were earlier, well, at the start of the stream. But slightly cleaner and better. Generally, I don't add friends on Discord, Tatum, but you can join the Discord server and talk to me through that. So if you're the server owner, then you have universal privileges, and then if you set somebody to have like an admin role, then that would be something that you should still be able to edit. Is that what you're referring to? Is somebody just messed that up? Tatum, if you look in the description of the stream, there should be a link to a LinkTree, and that LinkTree will have a link to the Discord. Okay. If somebody just messed it up, then that's a cleanup operation. You might want to go through and limit some permissions, like being able to edit roles. Okay, so then if we look at why is this exported? Let's look at the node. Doesn't export a mob pool anymore. It exports some different stuff. Yeah, you'd need to go in and edit their role to not have permissions to edit roles. That would leave you as the server owner the only one that can edit a role. They would still be able to do things like assign roles, but the server owner has absolute permissions. So you can mess with whatever you want there. Okay, okay. Monster. So, there we go. Monster pool is the monster pool. The monster bullet pool is the monster bullet. And player. I am just writing code for the most part. We are periodically going in and seeing if I broke everything. We're trying to make our game. And I have mostly broken everything. Zero, 1, and 2. Let's try again. So this should be spawning a purple bullet. It's 2. It's a player bullet. And a player bullet should equal 2. So I go in. That one, not that one. Into that one. Okay. Pool node is a... Okay. How is that happening? Because the player bullet pool is not set. So if they go into the game... Oh. That's why. Good night. Okay, I can't. Thought so. So this is a coding stream, but it is also effectively a chatting stream. We can talk about whatever while I mutter about things. Okay. Okay, so now the bullets are not trying to track bullets. Is this the newest Call of Duty? I'm not really up on the games, but I presume it's the newest one. Are you playing like the what would it be called? Kind of the Last Man Standing one? Interesting, Tatum. It's usually the first link. I have read the solo leveling. I started reading them, but I actually got kind of tired of it. The light novel version. I'm going to put 0 here for now, but that... Okay, yeah, that's not really what we want. Like, it's okay, but it has one of the lit RPG elements that I don't like. And that's that they have a power scale that is undefined. As in, they in solo leveling, they originally gave you an idea of, like, hey, this number meant this fast. But after a while, the character is just infinitely powerful, and we don't have a point of reference anymore. I think we might have to... use groups. Yeah. The character is super strong, but that's kind of the problem, is that it's kind of like Dragon Ball power levels. They're meaningless numbers. And we only know that the character is faster if they demonstrate that they are faster at a particular moment, you know? Like, the character is faster now, but they describe numbers and similar, and then it just stops meaning anything. You know, it's like he's super duper speedy, except when they don't want him to be super duper speedy, then something can be faster than him. It's not entertaining. Just after a while, it got repetitive. Yeah, Philip, streaming can be pretty intense. If you're doing it as a hobby, like you're just streaming what you're playing and what you're saying, then it can be pretty casual. But otherwise, it's like any other form of entertaining. You've got to be entertaining. You've got to be aware of your audience. You've got to talk constantly. Let's see. What's going wrong? Base previously freed instance on null instance. But pool node is null. Why is pool node? Oh. Oopsie doopsie. Okay, so what broke there is in remove mob, I meant to get a particular mob, but I don't need to. Because if I'm removing the mob, it's just removing a mob. All right, Haruto, have a good day, and thanks for joining us. So this is where I think we're going to end up using groups, but for now, we won't. So I can just queue free on mob. That should remove it from all of its trees. So The purple bullets aim at the blobs at the time that the blob originally appeared, or at the time the bullet came into existence. The purple bullet doesn't care if it hits its mob target. It just cares that it hits any of them. And if one of them gets to you, that number in the upper left drops. That is our placeholder for a health bar or whatever, you know? And it hits 0, it drops back. Okay. So we have a definition of different pools and a way to use them. This is a failure case. This is absolutely a failure case. It will break. Tatum, I will jump into that and give you permissions afterwards, after the stream. And that will reveal all of the other boards to you. Things like the pet photos and all that. Right now, my stream handling is very manual. Sky is demanding some attention, and Sky gets disruptive. He gets destructive if he doesn't get the attention that he wants. If he's really upset that you're not giving him either attention or enough food, he's the type of cat that will throw things off shelves. He chirps at you, he waits for you to make eye contact, and then he swats whatever he has off the shelf. And then he chirps at you again. Very much a, hey, you see what you're making me do? He needs periodic attention. He's not as snuggly as some of them are. Okay, so we have our basic types in place. We can spawn bullets. So the next thing would be, what if instead of straight at the mob, we also do a bit of a track, like a slow track. So, yes, hello. So the difficulty with this is towards a random mob, because it's initially flying at a target, but the target would change. Thanks, Samar. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I guess as a universal opportunity, it's always fun to show off. All right. So the next thing, as far as movement templates, is Ember be snoozing every now and then. Oh, yeah, there she is adjusting. So on some of the cameras, and on this one technically, there are kind of black rectangles. Those are low heat heating pads. They're meant to be on permanently and often used outside. Here, you can see more of them here. Hello, Sky. I notice you. I do. So you can see 4 of them. One where Ember is, and then there are 3 other cameras that have those black rectangles. Those are there because the cats like to lay on them. Technically, 2 of them don't get a lot of traffic, so I may end up moving them to other spots. Same with the cameras. Longer term. Positioning the cameras can be a hassle. All right. So like I was saying, part of the trick is tracking a particular target. Could they set a target? Could the mob have a given target? Such that each one could specify a new target, but I could have some that define a target when they go. So like to a random mob could say, I have determined the mob and this is my target. Come here, you. Come here. This guy is being a nuisance. Hey, you. Hey, come here. Come here. He potentially wants kibble. And I might have to get up and give that to him. Welcome back, lol. I think actually... we've only got half an hour left, so let's keep on keeping on. You can have kibble in half an hour, sir. When Sky wants attention, he generally wants his ears, his jaw, or even the tip of his chin scratched. If it's his jaw, he just kind of lightly rubs his jaw against your fingers. If it's his ears or his chin, he really wants you to get your fingers in there. Just itch his brain, you know? It fluctuates a lot, lol. It fluctuates. So what I'm considering is the idea of, can I specify a target for movement to use? Like what amounts to a global movement pool target. Like the mob has a movement target, you know? Let's do that. So it has its body, a template. Okay, no, this is a mob template. We need a mob body template. Here we go. So mob bodies at the moment, just when they hit something, they pop. Just gonna temporarily call you an int so it stops complaining. Actually, lol, that's the point of the blobs. The blobs aren't going to be the enemies. The blobs are a placeholder. That is Ember. The camera isn't actually frozen. She's just sitting there. She is keeping that position because she'd be napping. Hey there, Christian. Welcome, welcome. We're doing a chat and code stream. So, It's very chill. Feel free to talk if you like or lurk if you like. Well, happy birthday. Hope you're having a good day. Pass on that because we do have a method. All right. We need to put this. Layer extends what? Does what grip, Kimoy? Well, thanks, Christian. I appreciate it. I don't know if we're there yet, but we're getting close. We're around 4,000 today. So part of our problem is that the player is a unique entity. And we want the player to be able to be targeted. Just read that. I guess Kimoy, what hand strength? Whose hand strength? Does what grip? So I'm kind of using animation as a state machine, sort of. Player animation is walking, that kind of thing. And I could make the player a generic mob with some adjustments. Oh, Sky, quit it. Another thing Sky does when he wants attention is he'll grab the computer mouse. Ah, okay. It's a meme, I guess. You'll have to forgive me. I am kind of oblivious to a lot of that. So if I say something that seems to be, well, I will often react as if it's not a meme. So forgive me. And hello there, Dunn. Welcome, welcome. So I want player to be able to be a target. But the problem is that player is not a mob. So player does not have some of those variables. Pizza's good. What kind of pizza did you get? I am programming a game. We're using Godot engine, and we're learning to do it at the same time. So it's bumpy, and there's periodically periods where I'm trying to figure out how to make things work. Ah, Meat Lovers. Meat Lovers pizza is, I mean, okay if you like big piles of meat. But I've also found that it's terribly greasy, like leaky levels of greasy. Which I don't like. Honey mustard pretzel. Are you talking like a Bavarian pretzel? Like one of those big soft pretzels? All right, let's look at a mob body. I could have it be a mob body, but the problem is that it is not intrinsically, it doesn't have the same logic. Oh, like Dot's pretzels? I think that was the place. Yeah, I like their pretzels. It wasn't really on their menu. But through like, DoorDash or something like that, you could order one of their catering things, which was like a bucket of a bunch of pretzel bites, and that was just amazing. Way too much food, but delicious. Big old bucket of pretzel bites. Okay, so what were my favorite type of pizza? Little Caesar's pretzel pizza with pepperoni. I love it, especially stuffed crust. It's just so much good. It's too much good. In general, I like a big facet of pizza that I like is that the sauce, when it is a marinara sauce, should not be sweet. It should be spicy. It doesn't have to be like hot spicy. It's just that it shouldn't be sweet. If I want a sweet or a mild sauce, I like Alfredo sauce on the pizza. That can be good. But I really dislike sweet marinara sauce. Yeah, I know somebody that's been trying to do a lot of exercise, weightlifting, that kind of stuff, to lose some weight, get healthier, and they really miss pizza and carby food. I have played a little FNAF LOL. I didn't really like it. I don't like hiding mechanics in games where, you have to close the door or put the bucket over your head or roll under a bed. Now, there's a similar game series called I'm on Observation Duty that I love. I love a lot about that genre. What kind of music do I like? It's variable. Individual songs matter more to me than the whole genres. But a lot of the stuff that you're hearing in the track, in the sound, I like currently. The epidemic sound genres that are listed for these songs are things like chill step, synthwave, drift funk. I like drift funk without vocals. If there are going to be vocals, they should be so subdued that you can't tell what they're saying. Okay. So code-wise, what we're hung up on right now, what I am hung up on right now, is a way to define an entity such that it has a target. So a mob body has effectively this. It has a 2D physics body. Hey there, Lunar. I have not yet, Lunar. We are to the point where we can emit projectiles from objects. I still need to get this working properly. But Today, what we did is we changed it so that an object can have multiple movement patterns at the same time. So in theory, we could do this. I could go into purple bullet template. Where is it? It's the template, right? There it is, template. So right now, its only movement is 2 random mob. But I could add, say it moves 48, it moves slower, and I could add 2 player. So if you look, they're trying to veer towards me a little bit. I've not made any other games done. This is our first one. So then if I exit out and I go in and I do 96, it moves same speed. So you can see it's trying to fly in a particular direction. But it's equally trying to fly towards me. So I'm trying to do the whole thing custom. Like, I'm not using any assets from packages or any prefab code or anything. So what I was just demonstrating is that I can go in and I can stack movement types. I can daisy chain them. Part of why I want to start doing that pattern is so that I can have things like it moves in a straight line, but it also spirals kind of stuff. The old, I can't remember what the weapon was, but you'll have like contra spiraling shots. I can't remember what it was called, but like wave beam from Metroid, that kind of thing. Oh, here, let's zoom in. Sky is snuggling with Ember again. Generally, it means that it is mutual grooming and then they snuggle up. How long have I been working on this? A few weeks. Generally, I do coding like once or twice a week. It's a little bit intermittent. But this is our 7th coding stream. So as of right now, just under 21 hours-ish. We did a practice coding stream with Godot, kind of poked it a bit. Got some of the basic understanding. Let's check. Oh man. The only one missing right now is Sammy. We have Ember and Sky snuggled up, and then on the bed we have Mason and Sherbet. There are a lot of places off camera that Sammy lurks. You do? Where is she at? Overlooking her. This is a coding stream. This is a chatting stream, but There's also the cat cameras. And the cat cameras are very important. Play area? So on my scene, in OBS, I have a bunch of different viewpoints that I can switch to. It's kind of brute forcey. There are some things that I think I could change about that to make it more graceful. No, Sammy's not visible on any of these. The upper left corner is a litter box there. So I have like buttons I can press that will, switch the point of view to a different camera. Like it'll swap which ones are visible. Duo, I don't know if that is a accomplishment or not, but congratulations, question mark? Not sure, but she could be off one of the corners of that. Those are the edges just off of camera. She does lurk there sometimes. I do use a stream deck for that. Do that for some things. I don't frequently use these, but I just have the one Squishmallow. That one that you can see right there. They don't all like to lay on that one. It's variable. Some of them like the blanket. I haven't actually tested with other Squishmallows because I only have the one. But I do know they periodically like it. There's kind of like a divot there in the middle. How do we do this? I could have a universal kind of targetable entity. I will need to change the player for that. So if we look at player as a scene, player has a non-animated sprite in a collision. Let's look at the scene itself. I mean, it's very similar to others. I could just give it a mob body. I wouldn't mind being able to still control the animations on the player sprite, though. Alright, if not, I'll be live doing this again tomorrow, done. About the same time. Let's take a look at this. It's a Node 2D. Okay, Sprite 2D and animated Sprite 2D are not sub-objects. That's unfortunate. We've got movement stacking working. What I'm puzzling over, lol, is how to set up like saved targets. So like if a tracking projectile is keeping a target that it remembers the target that it's after. So let's say I have... Actually... Okay, no. So let's say the first movement pattern that I do is target a random monster. So 2 random mob here. When it starts, it randomly selects a mob and says, this is my target. But what if I have... Before that, I do track player. So if track player is firing first, it's moving towards the player. Do I really want 2 random mob to then select something else and fly towards that? I mean, possibly. But that leaves me... That makes it less flexible. Because I could have that. But 2 random mobs selects one that's random. If I have some that don't select random targets that say, this mob, this is your target, then I want them all to share that target. And I also want the player to be a viable target without having to have those movement types specify the player necessarily. Kind of need to noodle on that bit. My favorite movie, Tatum? That's tricky. I do have some that I like to watch now and again. One of my recent favorites, one of the ones that I liked a lot recently, let's say, I think it was Godzilla -1. Was that what? Was it 0 or -1? I don't know. It's the one that took place during like World War II. I really liked that. Another one is the Nicolas Cage Color Out of Space. That one's great. There are very few adaptations of Lovecraft stories that get it right. What, Jocelyn? In what, Philip? Is this in Modern Warfare? Did you get some sort of attachments? Tass, who just mentioned the title of what the title I was trying to think of, is our resident Godzilla expert. I've been playing Helldivers recently, Philip, and my favorite weapon in that right now is a slug-based shotgun that is effectively a sniper rifle. Okay, so we need some sort of universal entity. So when we're spawning a mob, I should have a marker for spawners that do once and then go away. It doesn't need player target anymore. I'm trying to remember how I did some of this stuff. In the game loop. Updating the tile. Okay, this is why the spawner is being moved. That's why. if I go, this is a tangent, but we're gonna address this before we wrap up tonight. So I go into the player and I look at its spawner. Its spawner's position is not being changed. Like, this spawn position is not being updated. So if I go into the player script, we're going to have... Is it node? Is it a spawn? Not that. Then in physics process, do spawner dot spawn position is equal to self dot I'm seeing what the variable for position is. It's global position. A dot position. Okay, so the purple bubbles should emit from us now. Or they'll break. Let's comment you. Red Bullet spawner hasn't been updated. I don't... Oh, I know why it's there. Hey there, No. Yes, there is a cat. There's a pair of cats. That's Mason and Sherbet, 2 of the 5. All right, we have the basic logic. This more or less functioning. So part of the next thing is going to be adding some movement types and properly getting the movement logic to daisy chain properly. Like, if the first one defines a target, the first one to define a target should trump all of the other ones. A term that I think is going to fall out of fashion. The one of the definitions thereof, the definition that says this one wins. Not the UK definition and not the recent naming convention that is unfortunate. None of these are firing backwards. Why are none of them firing backwards? Let's verify here. Hey there, truly most wanted. Welcome. You are coming in just about at the end of the stream. We've been doing a game dev project. Okay. Is their movement being affected by the... No, okay. It was just random chance. So... Yeah, just entirely random chance. Yeah, we're just about at the end of the stream there, Zeracles. We're finishing up today's coding. What we accomplished today is we rewrote the logic for how things are spawned in so that we have a little bit more flexibility in how we can reference things. So the blobs are in their own category, the purple bullets are in their own category, and if I decided to fix them, the red bullets would be in their own category. That type of targeting is probably going to be something I'll have, is a, fire in the direction of the mouse or track the mouse. Those are going to be things most likely. But a big thing that we added today is in mob template. Not mob body. Here we go. This one. So in this kind of template, if we look at this one, no, where did I put that? Oh, silly me. In a movement template, is it a movement template? Should be a movement template. No, it's something else that has a movement template. Mob template. Okay. Yeah, truly, I had considered that, but one of the things about this is I just wanted to try a new programming language, and GDScript was available. For some of the things, I may actually make C# libraries. But yeah, the thing we accomplished today was this. We changed it so that you can have multiple movement templates. And they're executed in order. So the first one, happens first, the last one happens last. One of the things I want to experiment with is potentially looking into things like Noida style handling. As in, we can daisy chain things and say like, hey, I'm going to change the movement of this by swapping out blocks. Or, hey, I'm going to change the impact of this. Yeah, truly, supposedly, GDScript itself is better at handling the in-world physics. Because it doesn't have to go through the translation layer that a C library has to do. But the C library is more efficient at any sort of like raw calculation. So there might be some things that will be better for me long term to use the like a C# library. But yeah, we can wrap up. We can check up with the kitties, and then we'll talk about. Oh, we've got all five. We've got all five now. So Sky and Ember are snuggled up right on top of each other. Sherbet and Mason are on the bed, and then you can see Sammy up on the secondary cat tree. Yeah, Most Wanted, I do have an array of cat cameras around. The lower left of the screen is always, well, is usually where you'll see our focus camera. And hello, Starry, Summer. Yep. Lunar, I haven't decided yet. At a minimum, we're going to have a Vampire Survivors like upgrade structure where, you know, you get duplicates, they level up until they mutate, kind of thing. But Bioprototype could be a good model for that, where their functionality is daisy chained, you know? To where you can add collisions and you can add tracking. Not for the time being, Tatum. 5 for now is plenty. At one point, I had 7. But a few of them passed away and haven't picked up any. I have plenty to deal with right now. But yeah, I think we've made progress today. All right, so my Twitch stuff, I don't have alerts properly wired up in general, I don't have alerts wired up for follow and sub, but I do appreciate that truly. I do have alerts set up on YouTube for like membership and donation kind of stuff, but generally not sub and follow at this time. I might change my mind on that later. Yep, after the stream, anybody that has joined the Discord, it can be useful if you call out in the Discord what your screen handle was in the stream, so I can identify you to determine if you are a chatter or like an art bot. All right, so we're going to be coding at least a couple other days this coming week. I think it's usually I try to do at least 2 days of that. We're going to spend at least 1 day doing the 40k power wash stuff. I want to see if we can complete that. So I don't know how long we'll have on that. So we'll see. But in the meantime, I hope you all had fun tonight. If you like what you saw and would like to see more, remember to like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is, so that the platform that you're watching on will tell you more about it. If you weren't aware, I do stream 2 different formats on YouTube and also on Twitch. I stream widescreen on Twitch, but otherwise short form and wide form appear on YouTube. You can find links to my Discord and to my other social media platforms in the descriptions of the videos and such. They can lead you to things like the Discord, which we have just mentioned. So again, thanks everybody for joining us, and I hope you have a good evening.